I ain't gonna lie, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. Going through a lot of shit.
Welcome to The Wall, brothers. Today, I want to show you a reality that women around the world are facing. With the epidemic of loneliness and the high cost of living, many are regretting not having made the decision to marry. They end up as single mothers, or even worse, getting divorced and ending up on the streets. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe and like the video. We aim to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for your small contribution so the family keeps growing. We also have our super chat open if you'd like to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further ado, let's begin.
I want to know how the hell people in Canada are even living. I generally consider myself a positive person. I'm resourceful, but some stuff happened around the property and while I know I'll never truly be homeless, I have family to live with. And, I have options. I'm luckier than a lot of other people, but how the hell is anyone existing in Canada? I feel trapped. And, I just got a good job. I started in September, but even with that job, it pays less than 40 grand a year. And it's a job that requires, education. And even on that job, I still can't do shit. I can't buy anything. I can't afford the rent these days. I'm just feeling so much despair, and I know I'm normally really, really positive, but I'm just how is everyone else, and are you okay? Because the answer's probably no. And I know I'm lucky. I don't have kids. I have good family that will support me, but I feel I can't stay here, but I can't move anywhere else, because anywhere else I move to, I'm gonna be charging, the landlords are just gonna charge me $2,500 a month in rent, unless I move into the middle of literally nowhere where there are zero jobs, and I'm just feeling really overwhelmed, and, I don't know. There's a part of me that just wants to say, F it, and just get a whole bunch of credit cards and just travel and just get out of Canada, because I know it's bad everywhere. I really do. But I don't know. At 33 years old, I was really hoping that I could at the very least afford, a small house. I don't want 3,100 square feet bullshit. I just want something small, 500 square feet, even less. And yet, it's so fucking expensive. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I must say you didn't play your cards well. You ended up hitting the wall. We all know the wall doesn't forgive. I recommend you find a quick simp or a beta provider. See if it helps you. Brothers, this is the reality of the modern woman. The feminists won't tell you this, but many of these women are drowning in debt. Many have student loans or credit card debt, or they simply want to pretend to live a lifestyle their wallet can't afford. The woman who doesn't invest in a man's potential and time ends up in this situation. Then you hear them say that single women are the happiest. Unless I'm short-sighted, all I see is a woman having a mental breakdown because she can't support herself. If you had married, worked as a team with a man, you could have a home. That's why the man has to maintain a household, and the woman just stays at home. That woman is privileged because covering all expenses nowadays requires many hours of work, brothers. This woman has 3 options: work until exhausted, end up on the streets or at her parents' house, or find a beta provider. And even the latter is difficult. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive.
I think I'm quite lonely, and I feel really bad for saying that because I have friends. It's not that I don't have friends, but everybody grows up and has different interests, and I kind of don't know where I fit in anymore. It's 6:15. I am halfway ready for bed. I'm not really hungry. I don't think... How do you make friends in your 30s? And I do have friends. It's not that I don't have anyone to turn to, but where do I get hobbies? Where do I meet new people? How do you, if you're not married and you don't have kids, and I don't know, maybe I don't go out and drink a lot anymore, and I just don't know what. I sound really moody, and I also don't. I like to be quite upbeat, even though I am horribly depressed. But I don't know. I just feel really lost. Just thought I'd share it in case you feel the same.
The epidemic of single women reaching their 30s is worrying. It's said that by 2030, over 45% of women aged 25 to 35 will be single. Women have been responsible for minimizing men, ruining marriage for everyone. I say they're responsible because they initiate 80% of divorces. With so many stories of bad marriages, men financially ruined, it's harder for women to find someone to give them the precious ring. Unlike many men, women grow up with their group of friends. But some of them get married or find partners along the way. Those who waste their time partying or with Chad, men who bring nothing to the table except their seed, end up hitting the wall at 30. They realize their friends are already married, focused on their families, and many don't have time for them. So they start looking for new friends and begin to feel depressed because they see everyone else living their lives while they have nothing to do on a Sunday afternoon. They feel the wall, the reality that no one is waiting for them. No one is sending them a message to show interest in them. But the women of the colorful hair movement say you have to be a strong, independent woman, so enjoy your solitude.
I can't function anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week. I buy a loaf of rye bread and I work really hard to keep that one loaf of rye bread lasting me the whole week, and I eat peanut butter. So I'll eat peanut butter toast whenever I'm hungry. And it's been fine. It's been working just fine. I'm good with that. That's fine. But last week, I guess I was a little extra hungry a couple days, so I had toast in the morning and toast in the evening, which that's not in my budget. So I ran out of bread on like the Thursday or even the Friday, I don't know. Either way, at 47, I had to see if my mother could buy me a loaf of bread so that I could eat for the weekend before my daughter got home. I don't understand why things are so hard right now. I apparently make too much money to receive any financial benefits or help of any kind.
So a lot of these videos have been popping up on people's timelines about how there's so much struggle in Canada. I mean, this lady is saying she eats bread and peanut butter for the whole week, guys. She can't even eat it twice a day. She had to ask her mother at 47 years old. I think that's what she said. Is this the true situation in Canada, guys? I mean, she says she works 3 times a week, $30-something an hour. So maybe she's not working as much as people who are going there want to work. Because I was speaking to someone yesterday and he's saying his wife is already in Canada. She's converting a study permit to like a work permit. He's going to be going there. And I mean, they're excited about it. So let us know, people in Canada, what's really going on out there.
Here we see the results of not getting married. Although it's hard for me to believe that with that salary, she can't manage to support herself. Because this is the difference between men and women. A man doesn't mind not spending much on himself, but he tries to stay out of debt. Typically, every man knows by the age of 20 that he has no life insurance, knows that if he doesn't work, he'll end up on the streets. But this is not taught to women. Modern women are only told to be happy, travel, go out with any man you want, enjoy life because you deserve to be happy. This woman seems to be divorced. If she had stayed with her husband, this wouldn't have happened to her. But she decides to leave her husband, the children grow up, throw her to her fate, and since she doesn't have a man to take care of her, she has to support herself and pay for everything. And it's a very nice, strong, and independent speech at 25 and 30, but at 40-something, more tired, surely with some illness or medical bills, a mortgage if they own a house because many live at that age, and rentals, credit card debt. To top it off with poor financial knowledge. It's either to starve or live on the streets or where their father lives if they are alive. But women are faithful to their emotions. They keep asking for divorce because, as you know, they deserve to be happy.
I have been a single mom for all of 2 years, and I have to say, I hate it here. I don't hate being a mom. I don't hate having kids, but I hate the fact that I only had two options: either stay in an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship or do it all on my own. And see, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I did the cooking, the cleaning. I was a primary person in charge of taking care of the children. And here I thought that that was a totally different category than being a working mom. As a working mom, I'm literally still doing all of the same stay-at-home mom shit, just on a different schedule, but now with the added mental stress load of how do I pay every bill by myself. And that's not even the part that frustrates me. The kicker is that this is culturally normal and even embraced, that if you're a single mom, you're just going to struggle and that's it. Like, I could be on the brink of a mental breakdown, literally underwater, telling people like, I do not know how to make this better. And someone will ask me, what's wrong? Are you okay? No, I'm not. And the response is, well, you know, it's hard out here for everybody. And I get it. We all have our challenges. We're all going through our own struggles. But why is it culturally normal for this to be the only other option? Like, at this point, I'm about to start dating other moms to see who wants to co-mother together. Because the fact that we're all just isolated but going through the same exact challenges at the same time just feels ridiculous.
Two women with children in the same house, both with financial problems. What could go wrong, brothers? Why didn't you say, I'll stay with my husband? I know marriage will be difficult, but I'll be faithful to my marriage vows. But no, you deserve to be happy, right? Well, here's the bill for your happiness. I truly rejoice when I see them like this, brothers. Many of these women overvalue what they bring to the table compared to what the man brings. Just think, this man was paying the mortgage or rent, car payments for both of them, health insurance, car insurance, internet bill, electricity, water, gas, mobile phone bill, as well as gasoline for the cars. Besides having to bring food to the table, he has to pay for his wife's beauty expenses, medical bills for everyone at home, credit card debts. She thinks that because she stays at home cleaning, cooking, taking care of her own child, she brings the same as the man to the table. It's easier to pay child support than to maintain a woman. For you to pay all of that, not live with a constant headache, you have to sweat hard every day. Woe unto you if you're not a professional with student debt in this economy, brothers. To get ahead, we both have to work. That's why men don't want to get married. You work hard for 10 to 15 years, paying for all of this like a donkey, only to see a woman who woke up one day, threw everything away, looked for a Chad, and took everything that cost you so much to have. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. That's why it bothers me to hear these women with the story that single women are the happiest. This woman seems to keep it together thanks to antidepressants because what the purple-haired movement doesn't tell you is that women are the biggest consumers of antidepressants and the most likely to attend therapy. This same woman, I don't know what she smoked, but she had her spiritual moment, that moment of acceptance of being stuck at the wall. That's why she feels like she lost her purpose for living because she's alone in a house. Even if she tells you she's at peace, I must say the house is silent because there's no one there. But in her depressive mind, there are only memories of her bad decisions. That's why she says she has to overcome it. But I must tell you, woman, the wall doesn't forgive. These women who keep buying into the narrative of, you deserve to be happy, end up like this woman, alone. That's why her group told her to be more realistic. Surely you kept looking for the perfect man instead of being faithful to one. Now you see how reality hits you because, brothers, this is where the one who always thinks the grass is greener ends up, hitting the wall, and we all know the wall doesn't forgive.
The downsides to being pretty. There are downsides. Number 1, girls will hate you for literally no reason. Number 2, everyone thinks you're like a mean girl or something. Number 3, those creepy guys, they love to stare.
Welcome, brothers. In today's video, we will talk about the competition among women. We will demonstrate how a woman's worst enemy is another woman, from the privileges of the pretty girl to the things they tend to accuse each other of. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We want to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for a small contribution so the family keeps growing. We leave you our super chat if you want to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further introduction, let's begin.
I don't know if any other girls had this experience growing up, but I always had people say things like to my parents or around me of like, oh, I bet she's got like the boys lining up to talk to her, or like some variation of that. I heard that all the time growing up, and I honestly was never sure if people were kind of like low-key making fun of me, because that could not have been further from the case. I think comments like that really messed me up kind of growing up, because even my sister would say things to me like, oh, you're so lucky, like you get all the boys, like all the boys like you. And I'm like, where are these boys? Who likes me? I've genuinely, I'm 30 and I've probably been asked out on less than 10 dates in my entire life. I never get approached by guys in public. The few times I felt like I was about to get trafficked, not like asked out on a date. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys' experiences with this, because I was like waiting. I was waiting for the day that the boys were going to be lined up to take me on a date. The day never came.
Brothers, pretty women often claim they don't receive much male attention because they're attractive, but I believe the opposite is true. If you check their social media, especially Instagram, you'll see a lot of attention from simps. The problem for them is that it's not the desired attention, they want the Chad, a man with privileged genetics who doesn't contribute anything more than his seed, or the high-value man, a man who has built himself up to access that top 20% of men. Nowadays, it's well known that men are afraid to approach women naturally, and the problem is who has caused this. The number of aggressive feminists who want to shame you for everything has made men reluctant to approach women. In cases of such bad luck for the man, a police order could be issued, so men don't want to seek trouble and just avoid them. But I don't believe that she hasn't been able to get more than 10 dates. I can believe that men might not approach her because they feel intimidated by how she looks, but with just 2 photos on a dating app, she has thousands of men looking for a date with her. So, brother, everything is as she paints it. She only says this to seek attention.
As a conventionally attractive woman, these are some of the things that I experience on a daily basis. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the hardest problem in the world to go through, but people make a lot of assumptions about pretty girls. First thing people assume about pretty girls is that they have everything handed to them. Yes, pretty privilege is a thing, but most pretty girls that I know have a full-time job and a part-time job and a side hustle. Some pretty girls are using their pretty privilege so they don't have to work, but the majority of pretty girls are still employed. Second thing they assume is that everybody automatically loves you and you have so many friends, when the opposite is actually true. Pretty girls actually receive the most jealousy and the most haters, and that makes it really difficult to make real, true, authentic, secure, confident female friends. As a result, most pretty girls are actually loners, or they have more male friends than female friends, because female friends tend to get very jealous and they start copying them and being haters behind their back and so on and so forth. Third thing they assume is that you have a roster. Do pretty girls get hit on all the time? Yes. But because they get hit on all the time, they have learned to differentiate between which men are full of shit and which men are not. And most of them are full of shit. So as a result, most pretty girls don't have a roster, and they're actually not even talking to anybody, because most men only want pretty girls because they're pretty girls. And for that reason, most pretty girls can only handle one man at a time. The fourth thing they assume about pretty girls is that you're one-dimensional, meaning just because you're a pretty girl means you're just a pretty girl. You can't be a pretty smart girl. You can't be a pretty talented girl. You can't be a pretty hardworking girl because you're a pretty girl. So you have to just be a pretty girl. It's not true. Pretty girls are dynamic individuals just like everybody else. And if you're gonna reduce them to their physical appearance, then don't be mad at them for using their physical appearance to gain certain things that they want. And the last and probably most common thing that people assume about pretty girls is that they have really high self-confidence. But the reality is, most pretty girls are insecure or have insecurities just like everybody else, because they're so aware of the fact that every time they leave their house, they have eyes on them. So they're so much more conscious of their appearance. And because of that, it causes them to criticize themselves even more. So pretty girls are not automatically confident, don't automatically have everything handed to them, don't automatically have all the friends in the world, don't automatically have all the options in the world either, and are regular people. Stop making assumptions about pretty girls. Just treat them normally.
Women, just like men, engage in competition, but the competition among men is nothing compared to that among women, because believe me, it's fierce. Women compete in beauty, in who has the best man, in who has the best body, who has the best lifestyle. Why do you think Instagram can boost a woman's morale, as well as make her depressed? It's because women live in brutal comparison with each other. They're always competing. That's why when one friend looks better than the other, the less attractive one will always try to minimize the pretty one because of jealousy. She'll always think, you have all this just because you're pretty. I've repeated it several times here. A woman's worst enemy is another woman. It's true, much of what they say. Many beautiful women either have all their personality in their looks or tend to be very insecure or depressed because they believe that the prettiest ones are the craziest. It's because many of them don't have real friends, or because they're always criticized when they don't behave perfectly as people expect because of their beauty. But I want you to notice when she said, many men flirt with you. Yes, but that's why you have to differentiate between the Chad or the high-value man. But as always, they go for the Chad because the Chad stands out from many high-value men who are intimidated by their beauty. The Chad doesn't care. He'll make his move however he wants. He has nothing to lose. So, brothers, if a beautiful woman is accepting your invitation, have confidence in yourself. Remember, confidence in a man is what makes him more attractive. If she's already agreed to go out with you, the rest depends on you. Saying to a woman, you're too beautiful to go out with someone like me, is something a simp would say. Why not think that you're a man who brings a lot to the table? Beautiful women choose you because you're a high-value man. Remember, confidence and uncertainty are always your best allies.
A girl is fucking tough. If you don't have an ass, you'll get made fun of because you're flat. But if you have one, don't show it off because then you're an asshole. If you don't have boobs, people will make fun of you. If you have boobs, don't bring attention to them because then you're a slut. If you're too short, wear heels. If you're taller than guys, it's awkward. If you're skinny, you're anorexic and you need to eat. If you're fat, you're obese and need to go on a diet. Because no one likes fat girls. If you never had a boyfriend, you're a lesbian. But if you've had more than one, you're a thought. If you have periods, it's gross. But if you haven't, you're not mature. If you lose your virginity, you're a whore. But if you haven't, you're scared. If you don't send nudes, you get blocked. But if you do, you get exposed and labeled for it. And guys wonder why girls are so insecure. Open your fucking eyes.
Now, where do these criticisms come from? Because men don't live concerned about these things, unless they're a feminized man. A high-value man doesn't go around talking about women because he knows that undermines you as a man. But most of these prejudices were established by other women, because they're the ones who criticize the most. If you want to see an example, you just have to go to an all-female workplace. They're the most toxic environments. Women tear each other apart, from the colleague who didn't dress up to the one who talks to the boss, from one who invents a rumor in the office. Men who have worked in places with more women can confirm this. It's like I said, women have fierce competition among themselves. Why do you think the concept of the popular girl stuck in school? Or why are there so many teen series where the mean girl is looking for her victims? Or why did the movie Mean Girls sell so much in theaters and become popular among teenagers? Brothers, you don't want to live through the bullying among women because they're just as bad, if not worse, than men. It gets worse as they get older. For example, when they hit the wall, they have to compete to find a beta provider or a high-value man.
You need to be extremely careful of women who are pretending to be your friends. These type of people will sneak into your life solely for the purpose of putting you down. But they will come in the shape of a friend. They will come in the shape of a nice girl. But it's all a lie. Secretly, they want to see you fail. I know many of you have experienced this because I get comments like this daily. But I recently got a DM and I just felt the urge to make this video because I feel like there are way more women struggling with this than we know. And it's not often talked about. When you have a pretty girl energy, when you know your worth, when you're walking around with your head held up high, there are a lot of people that don't want to see you have that. There are a lot of people that want you to feel insecure and want you to be put down. But they'll fake a smile and fake a friendship just to achieve their goal. Honestly, learning how to spot this out takes a lot of discernment, and you have to be able to learn to see through people, which comes with practice, or it's a natural born gift. But nevertheless, like everything, there's always signs. Let me know if you guys want me to make a video on that. I love you guys. Stay pretty.
The worst enemy of a woman is another woman. What he says is true, brothers. I don't know if any of you have had a partner who has a friend who always belittles her or makes fun of her, sometimes in a joking way, but you can tell they want to bring her down. But you, being a good boyfriend or husband, tell your wife, your friend is just fake with you, and your wife just says, she's just joking. Or sometimes you realize in a relationship with this woman how her family members are, like her mother, sisters, cousins, and aunts. You see that they all get along badly, or there's this competition among them, or they're the ones constantly giving toxic advice to your woman, which leads to problems in your relationship. It's very common in women's lives to have another woman who pretends to be a friend but actually envies her for what she has achieved or for her beauty. And the most common scenario is when your woman, usually married by 30, realizes that her friends are still single, living criticizing your relationship, trying to hang out with your woman, or wanting to go on girls' trips. You know her friends are bad influences, you tell her, but she doesn't believe you until you leave her. You realize the first woman who messages you is her so-called friend, if not blatantly flirting with you during the relationship. Brothers, women live in competition. That's why being a man focused on his path in life is attractive both to the woman you choose and those around her. I bet they'll want a man of your caliber.
The best part about getting older is not giving a damn what people think. One of the liberating aspects about getting older is the decreased concern about people's opinions. Personally, and especially in the last 2 years, I've just learned to embrace my imperfections and accept my individuality. I don't feel the need to meet societal expectations or arbitrary standards set by others. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't paid attention to what somebody has said about me before in the past. But I've learned that investing time and energy into trying to understand people's opinions about you will end up being pretty unproductive and hindering your growth. Look, as you get older, you're going to end up facing various challenges that are going to change your perspective on life. And this accumulated wisdom that only comes with age will often enable you to navigate life's ups and downs with a greater sense of resilience and a more balanced perspective. Consequently, you're going to learn to shrug off the judgments and opinions of others because you're going to learn that your experiences ultimately hold more weight. Now, not caring about what other people think can be liberating, but it's also important to strike a balance. Just remember this, okay? Those who are genuinely content and successful with their lives tend to focus less on criticizing others and talking about them. Nobody who is doing better than you will be talking about you. This is just something you learn with age. Take it from me.
Brothers, as women age, they become more aware of their age. This is very important for women because they know they are nearing the end of their beauty. They know that their beauty is what makes them competitive in the sexual marketplace, and without it, it will be harder to attract the best men. Why do you think women invest thousands of dollars in expensive skin or body treatments, from Botox to surgical operations like breast lifts? Women know that the competition among women is fierce. In countries like Russia or Eastern Europe, what women fear most is not losing their beauty but not being attractive once they reach 35 years old, as their husband might leave them for a younger woman. I'm talking about a country where women are very beautiful and very traditional, knowing how to take care of their man. This is what women fear. That's why you see them advising young girls not to waste their youth on older men, so they don't close the doors to finding their beta provider, or so they don't steal someone else's husband. They know that by 30, they've hit the wall, that their best years are behind them. Those who couldn't use their beauty to secure a husband look with suspicion at those who are rising up and might do what they couldn't do in time. That's why there's envy, because they know the wall doesn't forgive. Welcome, brothers. In today's episode, we will talk about single mothers and their ridiculous standards for the men they desire, when nowadays every man knows that a single mother is a terrible option as a partner. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We want to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for your small contributions so the family keeps growing. We'll leave our super chat if you want to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further introduction, let's begin.
How to find the boring guy. Okay, single moms, you want to find Mr. Right. I get it. You deserve to feel loved, but you can't find him until you do this. Get you right. Until you get yourself spiritually right, emotionally right, and financially right. Because if you don't get all three of those things right, and you're out swiping in the dating world, all you're going to meet up with are toxic men. Because when you're not emotionally, mentally, and financially fit, you will accept less than you deserve. Because you're not loving yourself. You don't even think you're worthy of the good guy, which we've deemed here the boring guy. It's not really boring, it's just not toxic. And I get it, you're in a hurry. But if you don't fix yourself first, it's gonna take you even longer to meet a good man. And you'll get hurt even more. Trust me, I did it. I made the mistake. And I'm here to help you not repeat that same mistake. Let me help you. Download my free Brave Life Planner. The link is in the bio. It's going to help you start to put your life together, and then join my Single Mom Club. Every week, I'm going to help you get emotionally, financially, and spiritually strong so you can be a fantastic partner and make a really wise choice this time.
Indeed, the guy isn't toxic, so it's understandable that you don't like him, because a single mother with Chad's kids is used to the bad life. These women have Chad's children, a man who is in the world only to spread his seed far and wide. This man who never stops working and is the #1 producer of single mothers. He takes her on an emotional roller coaster, making it impossible for this woman to break free from that cycle, as we all know that women are strongly connected to their emotions. This man becomes like an addiction for this woman, so it can never work with another healthy man unless she spends several years in therapy reprogramming her brain. Brothers, this dating coach teaches women how to distinguish boring types, in other words, how to track down the beta provider. At no point does she talk about whether this man will appeal to her. She only sells to women the idea of finding the boring type who can support Chad's child. Believe me, her channel is full of single mothers seeking to learn the strategy to get their beta provider, someone who will lift them out of their misery for having to be alone in the world raising Chad's children. They need the help of this man willing to raise Chad's seed.
So I've now been single for about 8 months, mentally probably a lot longer, but I don't know how to go about this. There's been a couple of people that I could have seen something blossoming with. One couldn't because he wanted kids and I didn't, and two, there was an age thing. And what am I supposed to do? I have my kids 90% of the time. And what am I supposed to do? Meet somebody on a Friday and Saturday and be like, oh, see you in a couple of weeks' time? It just becomes a really, really difficult situation. And also, do I want to meet somebody that hasn't got kids and doesn't understand the kid situation, or somebody that has got kids, which then brings more kids into the factor, and now I have 3 and then there's more children? Like, help.
Brothers, this woman has 3 kids from Chad. She wants a man without kids who will make her the center of his life, solely distribute his resources to raise her children because, according to her logic, a father is the one who raises, not the one who begets. What better than to marry a mother of 3 children to finish raising Chad's seed? This woman is smart, I must say. Did you not hear how she's searching for her new victim, a man without children, because she doesn't want a single father, of course, because that would bring his own seed into the equation? She wants one without kids who also doesn't want to have kids. Apparently, she found her beta provider at some point, but he insisted on her giving him a child. She doesn't want to give children to the beta provider. She only wanted Chad's DNA and the beta provider's resources. Brothers, I don't know why a man would get himself into this mess, but if you find yourself in the condition of dating a single mother and you don't have children of your own, make it clear to her that she has to give you a child within a 2-year period. If she hasn't given you your own DNA in 2 years, discard her. If she's a mother of 1, 2, or 3 children, run away from there. Yes, it's easier to endure Chad's child if you're having your own, but if she won't even give you that, what's she doing there? Raising another man's sin. But I want you to listen to the other video about a single mother and her chaotic life.
So I'm a single mom of 2, and I kind of wanted to share why I don't and will not date anymore. So a little backstory about me. I have 2 boys. I was married to my second son's father for a little bit, and I had my first son in high school with my high school sweetheart. I was also engaged for a little bit recently, and I called that off, but that story's for another video. So pretty much since I called off my engagement, I've been doing a lot of like internal soul searching about like dating and just relationships and like what I want out of that. I highly recommend you do that and journal, because that's helped me like kind of figure out where I'm at in this moment today. So basically, I have decided to not date, not look, not try, not think about it, not put any energy into relationships or dating. I like 100% want to focus all of myself on my kids and my career. Don't know where my career is going yet, but again, another video. So the reason that I've decided this is just a few things. A, dating as a single mom is so risky. Like, from this past experience of breaking off my engagement and all of that, like, unfortunately, I hurt my kids. And that has been really hard for me to process in putting them through that as well. And it's just too risky for me, and not something that I ever want to be put through or put them through again. Now, mind you, my kids have not met a lot of people. This was the first guy that my youngest son met, and the second guy that my oldest met being the other one being my youngest son's father. So anyway, it's just too risky. Another reason is, like I said, I just like want to be 100% focused on my kids and my career. Not saying that if you're dating and you have kids and you have a career that you can't be 100% in a relationship. But for me, I just don't want to even have to bother, to be honest. Like, I am all in on my kids. I'm all in on my career and where I want to go and what I want to build for us. That dating is just nowhere near my radar. And I've thought about it since calling off my wedding and ending my engagement, like getting back out there, just kind of like seeing what's out there. And I'm just truly deep down, like, not interested. Men have hurt me so much, and this is not like a fuck men video. It's really not. But I truly have zero trust, zero, in the male species. And that's also another reason. Like, my ex-fiance was like the nicest guy ever, and it still didn't work out. So maybe it's me. I don't know. It's me. I'm the problem. I don't know. But I'm really, truly at a point in my life where I don't want to date. I will not date. And that might change in a couple years. It might change in a couple months. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm really, really happy with my decision. And I just suggest really searching internally for what you want.
Then she wonders why men don't want to date single mothers. In her adolescence, she gets pregnant by a Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. Then she finds another Chad who also ends up getting her pregnant with the second child. And finally, she finds the boring guy, the nice guy, this beta provider willing to accept her with 2 kids, brothers, who wanted to give her the ring. But what a simp. And this woman cancels the wedding. Can't you see? She says she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know if she's the problem. Of course, it's you. Your brain is damaged from dating Chad so much. Like I said, if these women don't undergo therapy for at least 2 years, they won't succeed in reprogramming their brains to get out of that bad life. The boring guy didn't appeal to her because he didn't put her on an emotional roller coaster. As I mentioned earlier, women are loyal to their emotions, so it won't work with the good guy because, as the dating coach said, he's not toxic. Brothers, stay away from defective products because they will only give you headaches and suffering. When you see that she has 2 children from 2 different fathers, it means that woman comes from troubled pasts.
I reached out to boys that were raised by single mums. You just think, especially with little boys being raised by single mums, there's just a lot to unpack there. And what was really curious for me, the one thing that popped up with all of them was that I think it was a lot more common back then with single mums, but they said, I wish she dated more. I wish she invested in herself more. I've heard this conversation a bit lately, and I get where it comes from. I've seen it a lot where women are like, that's it. I'm not dating until my kid's 18 and then I'll do it. I'm just going to give all of myself to my child. And I hear them. I hear why they say that. But from the conversations that I had with these guys is they were like, we actually felt such an immense pressure because we knew we were that mum's world. Like, I wish she had joy and happiness outside of us, because all of a sudden, I actually think that's too great of a burden for a child to carry, knowing that they are your only source of joy and happiness. And that is actually not something that I want Len to carry. I do believe that it can coexist. Devote yourself to your child, but you also devote yourself to yourself. And you, like, how incredible for a child to see their mum fulfilled and happy and in love and cared for and supported. Like, far out, that is what I want my son to experience.
The irony here is that children raised by single fathers perform better than those raised by single mothers. What this woman says is true. This also happens when they have a son, especially if he resembles the father. Many women start to resent the child because he reminds them of the father or the Chad who left them. Why do you think almost all troubled kids or kids with mental problems come from single mothers? It's because many focus their lives on the child, making them their entire source of happiness, which ends up spoiling them with so much attention, making them effeminate, or turning them into socially resentful individuals. It's logical to think that if you date a single mother, you'll never be the center of the relationship. Her children will always be. But many also do the opposite. They find a man, have more children with him, and mistreat the children who remind them of their troubled past or bad decisions, treating them poorly or unloading all their frustrations on them. Brothers, don't seek trouble. With so many single women out there, why put yourself in the situation of raising Chad's children?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the real tea on if you're a single mom and you're dating, why it's actually like good for you, because you can pick such a good partner. One, you have like no time for BS. Like, as soon as somebody starts like messing around, you're actually just uninterested. You don't like to play those games anymore because you're like, I'm busy. Or you'd rather spend time with your kid. Like, that's a sign. If you're hanging out with someone or dating someone and you'd literally rather be home with your child, you don't like them. Next. Another thing is, if you used to like pick bad guys before, you're a single mom now, so clearly something was wrong with your judgment. Now it's like you have somebody, you are bringing someone else into the equation, so you just can't even like mess around with that kind of stuff. It's so much more responsibility on your shoulders. Like, you're not just playing with your own heart, you're playing with your kids, so you're protecting your kids' heart too. So you choose such better quality people than you would if you were just like yourself. Like, you don't have room to mess around in that way, And because you have such little free time, you're actually good to spend time by yourself. So like, if somebody's not like really making you so happy, you're good to be on your own. Happy dating.
Did you notice when she said, if you used to choose bad boys when you were single, clearly something was wrong with your judgment? In other words, before you could have fun with Chad, the man who truly swept you off your feet, whom you genuinely liked. Now you can't choose that way anymore. Now you have to choose based on your standards because you need to find a new father to take care of raising the child of the man you truly loved. Brothers, many women are with men simply for what they bring to the table, not because they generate any kind of emotion in them. They seek the beta provider for his resources. That's why many women say they're with who they can, not who they want. Most women end up loving only one man, usually the father of their first child. That's who they genuinely want the DNA from. But as we know, Chad doesn't commit to anyone. So afterwards, they have to go to therapy to see if they can learn to love or tolerate being with another man who can provide a stable financial life and raise Chad's seed.
This is the scariest type of man, and I'm gonna tell you why right now. One, I have been traveling for about 14 hours, so excuse me. Man who can pull off a crop top, a brown hat, and a mustache will always be prettier than you in the morning. His confidence is bigger than his type of guy to make you feel like you guys are dating the first time you hang out with his friends. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome to The Wall, brothers. In today's video, we'll explore the opinions of the modern woman, from the type of men she likes to her ridiculous standards for dating a man. But before we proceed, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We aim to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for your small contribution to help the family keep growing. You can find our super chat if you'd like to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further ado, let's get started.
Listen, because I'm having a goddamn day, okay? Ladies, I absolutely have to know if you feel the same way. Leave a comment below because I cannot be the only one suffering from this goddamn mental illness. I've come to the conclusion that 99% of my life's problems could be avoided if I just liked the nice man. The nice man with the 9 to 5, with the Wranglers on, with the dad bod, with the New Balances. You know, the nice, stable, normal man. I'm 32. I need to like the nice man. Something stable, respectful, responsible. The man who's just going to come in and love my kid, worship the ground I walk on, and just do everything for me. That is the nice man. And I need to keep telling myself, that is what I need. That is what's good for me. I don't want the nice man. I don't want the man who will worship the ground I walk on, who's just so nice and loves me all the time. I don't want him. It just doesn't fucking do it for me. It doesn't drop my panties. And it needs to, because I'm 32. And you know, the men that I want are questionable at best, okay? I'm going through it because the man that I want, you know, the funny, attractive man walking around with 2 phones and wads of cash, maybe a baby mom or 2, this man will fuck up my life. We know it. He knows it. It's inevitable. But unfortunately, the way the good Lord has programmed me is just, that is the man that my heart wants. I know there's something mentally wrong up here. Thank you. God bless America. You don't need to let me know. I don't know what to do about this. I'm having a real internal conflict here, you know? If you could just send thoughts and prayers, that would just...
In her heart, she wants the beta provider, but in her mind, she always goes for the Chad. Did you hear that right, brothers? I'm 32 years old, hitting the wall, needing to get married to fix those issues. I just have to let the beta provider into my life, the nice guy who accepts me even with kids. But she doesn't like him because he doesn't put her on an emotional roller coaster. He doesn't pedestalize her. Meanwhile, Chad, the guy who brings nothing to the table, puts her through anguish and desperation, just plays with her. That man will always get her panties down. These are the type of women who want you to choose them tomorrow, women who would only choose you for a stable financial life, not because they love you, only because you solve their life. Brothers, remember, if you treat a woman like a celebrity, she'll treat you like a fan. These women on the wall, with a high body count, mentally damaged by Chad, are not wife material. Avoid bringing chaos into your life.
Let's talk about coffee dates and walks. So I work as a professional dating coach for men, and I'm always going to give you guys the straight truth, no crap. So here's the thing. You can go on coffee dates, you can go on walks, you can go on drink dates, dinner dates, whatever your heart desires. If it's your personal preference, do it. That being said, you are going to turn a lot of women off by suggesting a walk or a coffee date. And no, that does not mean they are all greedy little gold diggers. It just means they don't like going on coffee dates or walks. And it may be because they're old-fashioned. Maybe they hate the taste of coffee. Maybe they are gold diggers. Who knows? And yes, if you hold out long enough, you can find a woman who will mesh just fine with you on a coffee date, if you're willing to hold out. But if you find yourself being turned down for coffee dates, or your coffee dates aren't going well, it might be time to rethink your strategy. You might be closing the door to a lot of potential great women by suggesting coffee dates or walks. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a first date preference. I'm just saying that that preference might turn down good potential people.
And these women are also letting good men slip by, evaluating whether the woman goes on a date because she has a genuine interest in him or just wants to dine at an expensive place. It's that modern women want a first date at fancy restaurants, but it's only for a free meal. Most of them are gold diggers. Why should I invite you to an expensive place to get to know you if the intention was for us to talk and see if we're compatible? Because all they want is a photo for their Instagram of a nice dinner at a restaurant, where I assure you everything but you will be the focus. Furthermore, she doesn't think about getting to know this person, seeing if we're compatible. What will the man do? I assure you he would invite her to a second date at a better restaurant because he evaluates a woman who is interested in getting to know him. Many women have these standards that they don't go on coffee dates because supposedly it lowers their status. But what status is that if those restaurants you want to go to, you can only enter when someone else pays for the meal since you can't afford it yourself? But she wants to live in the vanity of saying, I dined at such and such a place, because I assure you, brother, she will talk about how magnificent that dinner was, but no one will mention the sponsor, and you'll see how they bid you farewell with a full belly. To go to Chad who'll get her panties down.
We all know a guy who perhaps we've slept with or perhaps we've been on a few dates with who has then friend-zoned us. Congratulations to him. He's had the courage to actually give you that clarity. However, this guy continues to send you suggestive texts every now and then. This is actually breadcrumbing, and I'm going to teach you what you need to say to let him know that you're not here for his breadcrumbs and that you respect yourself and you deserve respect from him. Usually these suggestive texts are going to be about either dreams or massages, and I know this because on the flip side, I help reverse engineer curating chemistry in a connection, and these are the types of messages that I suggest. So he's going to send one of these suggestive texts, and what you need to respond with is, lol, I thought you just wanted to be friends. Keep it simple, keep it cute. If he's like most men out there that use breadcrumbing as a technique to keep women mildly interested, then he's going to respond with something along the lines of, haha, yeah, but friends can massage each other, right? Now it's time for you to be assertive. So your response needs to be, no, I know the difference between friends that can massage each other and friends who don't massage each other. He's going to respond with something typical like, I was just joking or I'm just playing with you, which is classic deflection. Put your foot down by saying, when you work out what you want, let me know. Then he'll extend a slight olive branch and say, no, I love being friends with you and I'm just playing around. And here's where it is most important for you to be assertive. You're going to snap his olive branch by saying to him, yeah, well, you can save those text messages about massages or dreams for those other friends who might be more appropriate. He's not going to respond, but what he will know is that you respect yourself and you value yourself and you deserve more than his breadcrumbing.
And they'll spend their time exchanging silly messages until Chad knocks on their door to give them their massage, because these women who aren't married or in a relationship always have this type they like, which they know isn't husband material, but still, they always end up sleeping with him. It's like the friend with benefits but who has power over her. These women are the worst to date because they claim to be single, but they're always sleeping with the man they like, that man who just has to send a message for her to go to his house and spread her legs. For these reasons, don't accept the idea of being just friends with your woman. If you see a woman always chatting with this friend who's very clingy, don't be naive. Of course, they've slept together. Most of these women have a man who functions as their bedroom toy. He's only there to relieve her stress. These men always keep her like their cattle. She likes them because it's quick, effective, and simple. Believe me, you don't want to be the boyfriend of a woman who has a guy for that, because they'll easily pin Chad's child on you.
The first sign that you see, leave. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Don't do it. Like, just leave. Leave. If someone isn't treating you how you should be treated, leave. And like, if you're someone like me, instead of like thinking like why you're accepting that behavior, you try to figure out what's wrong with him. Like, Why did you do that to me? Let's figure out how to fix you. That's not okay. Basically talking to myself at this point. Life is so short. Why would you waste it on someone that's treating you like that? You know you deserve better. You're gonna try and teach him how to treat you? No.
Brothers, remember, anguish and desperation are your best allies in a relationship. Women are addicted to attention. If she doesn't listen and improve as she said, she'll only get worse. This is what I call genuine interest. When a woman doesn't like a man from the get-go, she dumps him. If someone doesn't treat you as you deserve, leave. How many men do we know or have experienced treating a woman like a lady, being kind, taking her to nice places, listening to her, being there for her when she needs, only to watch Chad get her panties down, and she sends you to the friend zone? If you go out with a woman, she's not your girlfriend or wife, nor do you have intimacy with her. Let me tell you, sir, that you're just another friend to her because she only sees you as someone to make her life easier. You're the one playing the emotional role in solving her problems, while she shares her bed with Chad. Remember, anguish, desperation, and bad times are stronger emotions than love. They keep the woman interested. Don't give away your attention.
Your ex does still think about you, whether that's for better or for worse. But every time I do a Q&A, one of the questions I get is, does my ex still think about me? And I can tell you without knowing anything about your specific situation that yes, your ex does still think about you. Even if your ex is still in a new relationship, I can promise they think about you from time to time. And even if your ex moved to the other side of the globe, I can also promise that they still think about you from time to time. And the way I know this is I can guarantee that you still think about every single person you've been in a relationship with, including that person that you were probably with for 3 weeks when you were in junior high. People don't just forget people that they were in relationships with. Now, I know that this may help you in some ways, and I also know that this may hurt in some ways, but just know that you have not been forgotten about. Now, do I think you should do anything with this information? No, I just want to ease some of your fears of being forgotten.
The modern woman has these thoughts that men never get over them, that they always leave a mark on that man. When many men sometimes don't even remember the faces of many girls they've been with, the men who constantly remember a woman they had a relationship with years ago are men who don't have options. Because if that woman didn't have a lasting relationship with you, she wasn't your wife or girlfriend either. She was just someone you talked to once. Let yourself fall in love on your own and move on from that woman. Now, when a man, usually Chad, is always talking to a woman he's been with, he only does it because that woman is always available to him. In other words, that woman belongs to his cattle. As I said, there are men who always have women on the waiting list for boring days to sleep with them. These women are so hooked on these men that they're always available to them even when they're in a relationship. As I said, stay away from the woman who's always talking to a friend or talks about a toxic ex-boyfriend or always mentions a man who was in her life. If it's not a brother or father, the man she mentions still generates strong emotions in her. As we all know, women are faithful to their emotions. She'll cheat on you sooner or later with that man. Trust me, you don't want to be the puppet of a woman who settles for you or got involved with you because she's over 30 and needed a beta provider. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think of what the modern women said? Why do you think modern women pursue Chad? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.